Hey guys, this is Eric from Figure Unboxing, and in this video we're going to take a look at S.H.Figuarts Trunks, the Xenoverse edition. I feel like the whole Xenoverse line is a little bit random, but I guess it's a really good way for Bandai to raise brand awareness. Hopefully people who play the video game are going to start buying S.H.Figuarts, but for people like me, I'm going to buy anything regardless of what they make. But I will still much prefer a tank top Trunks, or like a long hair version. Like, it's time for us to get that. Like, I don't know why we don't get a tank top one. But anyways, here's the left of the box, here is the right of the box, and here's the back of the box. And it does look amazing, don't get me wrong. Like, the figure looks very, very nice. This is probably one of the better ones I've seen for a while. Well, at least it's like something different. Well, it's still Trunks, but the outfit looks pretty cool though. But anyways, let's check out the figure itself. Alright, so here we have the figures still in the packaging, and it looks amazing. And consider the price, I think they gave us a fair amount of accessories. But anyways, that's enough talking, and let's check out the figure itself. Alright, so here we have the figure itself, and as expected from S.H.Figuarts, the figure is beautifully done. The sculpt is great, and the paintwork is really clean. I feel like Bandai has been doing a really good job with the quality control, and I really appreciate that. I don't have any paint issues whatsoever, and hopefully yours is as good as mine, but I'm really happy with it. But I feel like this release of Trunks is not that exciting to me though. And obviously that has nothing to do with the figure itself. It's just that I didn't play the game, so I'm not that attached to this iteration of Trunks. And for those of you who play Xenoverse, I'm sure you're gonna like it a lot more. And I think we desperately need a 2.0 body for the older Trunks. This is the premium color edition, but the proportion is off, and obviously the new face is a lot better. Like, we really need a new one. And I think they were gonna do it. It's just that the product manager probably decided to double brand when they build the body. Which is really good. I think it's really genius. Like, they're raising like awareness from a different crowd. And I'm all for good business practices, but you know, that's a discussion for another day. And let's check out the articulation for this guy. Alright, so for the articulation, let's quickly go over from the neck down. He can look up about this much, look down about this much, he can turn his head no problem. And the shoulder is on a standard ball joint, you can raise up about this much. And you do have shoulder swivel and bicep swivel, so that's pretty good. And you can curl about this much, and you do have the bolt wrist. And the ab crunch, you can bend forward about this much, bend backwards about this much, and you do have side-to-side movement. And the lower body is where it gets really, really frustrating. Like, this is not acceptable for modern S.H.Figuarts, especially for a Dragon Ball character. Like, the movement is as bad, if not worse, than S.H.Figuarts Sasuke. Like, they could have used softer material. Like, this is not acceptable. And let me just still kind of show you guys what it looks like. So he doesn't have a pants in there, and you do have the pull down joints, and you can swivel like that, and you can bend the leg about this much, and the foot is on a ball joint, and you do have the toe hinge. That's it for the articulation. The lower body is really disappointing, but let's check out the accessories. Alright, so for the accessories, let us start with the default face, and it definitely looks really good, and I like it a lot. Alright, so next up we have a sideways smiling face, and it looks pretty good as well. Alright, so next up we have the interchangeable Super Saiyan head with teeth grinding expression, looks pretty good. And comparing with the older one, I feel like this one just has a better proportion overall. And he has neck and smaller head, and this one has big head with no neck. Do let me know in the comments what you guys think, but I always thought this one just has no neck, and it looks pretty weird. But anyways, let's move on. Alright, so next up we have a shouting face, and that looks really good. Alright, so next up we have the sword sheath. It's really nicely painted and sculpted, and of course this is not a full blade. A lot of company has been going with this design, I'm not sure why. And they actually made an improvement on the belt. This time the belt is actually long enough. For the previous release Trunks, this thing is way too short. And what ends up happening is that people start breaking their peg over time. That happened to one of my Trunks. But anyways, let's try out this one. Alright, so here I have Trunks assembled with a sword sheath, and it looks really good. And like I mentioned earlier, the belt is actually long enough so you won't have to worry about this breaking at all. I don't see that happening unless you're too rough with your figures. And even then, I still think it's pretty hard. But anyways, let's move on. Alright, so next up he came with a pair of hands for him to hold a sword, and we do have the sword over here. It's very nicely painted and sculpted, and I'm very happy with the design they went with over here. So you can actually take this part off and then slide it onto the hand. So that's very nice. And he can hold it very, very securely, and let's try that out. Alright, so here I have him assembled with the sword, and it looks amazing. Alright, so next up he came with a pair of key blasting hands, and these are really standard for Dragon Ball figures, or you can do some push-up with it. Alright, so lastly, he came with a pair of hands for him to hold the scroll, and I don't play the game, so I don't know anything about the scroll, but it's very nicely painted and sculpted. I really like the gold over here. And let's try it out. Alright, so here I have him holding the scroll, and that's it for the accessories, and let's try out some action poses. Alright, so first up we have him trying to pull his blade out, and that looks pretty good. Alright, so next up I have him showing off the blade like the box art, and that looks pretty good as well. Next up we have him turn Super Saiyan flying backwards, and that looks pretty good. Alright, so lastly we have more Super Saiyan action, and it looks amazing. And my only real issue with the figure is just the lower body. Not to mention the skirt, the pivot is really bad as well. But other than that, everything else is fine. And let's jump straight into the size comparison. Alright, so for the size comparison, let us start with the S.H.Figuarts Dragon Ball figures, and these are the 2.0 body, and these are the original mold. I think we're moving on to the 2.0, but they still look pretty good together. Alright, so next up we have the S.H.Figuarts Street Fighter, Ryu, and Chun-Li, and Masco 112, Daredevil, and Punisher. And next up we have the S.H.Figuarts Naruto figures, and they look pretty good as well. Alright, so next up we have some S.H.Figuarts Kamen Riders, some recent Figma figures. Alright, so lastly, we have the Diamond Select Venom, Figuarts Joker and Tony Stark, Amazing Yamaguchi Spider-Man, and Super Action Statues Kaneki from Tokyo Ghoul. And let's jump straight into the final thoughts. Alright, so overall, aside from the issue with the lower body, I actually think the figure is pretty solid. I really like the way they design how he holds a sword. He can hold it very securely, which is a big plus for me. Maybe they could have given us like another faceplate or display open hands, but there's nothing we can do about that. And he is relatively cheap. Like, he's very affordable. He costs around like $40, and I think it might get a little bit lower when it gets to the US. But anyways, I think that's it from me, and do let me know in the comments what you guys think about the figure or just Dragon Ball Xenoverse in general. But this is Eric. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.